Hey mom, how you doing there in sunny Florida?
I'm doing good, Phil. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm in California. There's some whole bunch
Mhm.
of goats grazing behind me outside my window. It's really cool. It's really chill.
Oh,
So you've had a really interesting journey, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I was thinking a lot about your story, and so I'm just so grateful that you're willing to share with others what your journey has been, because I think that you can really inspire other people. And so I just wanted to say to you that I love you and I'm proud of you, and I'm just so grateful that you're willing to actively engage in your own self-care. So let's kind of get into the story and what happened and how this relates to Mental Health Awareness Month. So last year was your birthday. It was a big birthday for you, and I was so excited because I had saved up enough frequent flyer miles to take you and me business class to South Africa. We were going to
yes.
Joburg, we were going to Durban, we were going to Cape Town. I mean, we had this trip
Yes.
planned to the T, and we were going business class all the way. I was so happy.
Me too.
Yes, so looking forward to that trip. And then one day before the trip, what happened?
One day before the trip, a guy hit Jamila and I in the back, changing my whole life, changing our lives,
Just like that. Jamel, it's my
just like that.
sister.
Yes,
Yeah. She got
just like
hit.
that.
Mom got hit by a man who was texting and driving,
Yes.
and it really did change the course of events. And so right when that happened, I said, Mom, you've been through a lot. You might want to consider, um, seeing a therapist, and, talking about it is very traumatizing. But at that point, what was your response to me right then? Yeah.
Oh, I think I said something like, well, I'm not crazy. And I didn't think that I needed to speak with a psychologist. And yet I was dealing with chronic pain, a lot of stress. They've diagnosed me as postmenopause, uh,
Well,
anxiety,
let's get to the
depression.
diagnosis after. Let's talk about what happened before we got to that part. So
Yes,
so
I was.
basically, when I asked you to consider seeing a therapist, you were like, "No, I'm not crazy," because your definition of seeing a therapist was that you had to be crazy in order to see a therapist, because we think of mental health as, we as soon as you hear mental health, you think schizophrenia or
Yeah.
bipolar, whatever psychosis.
Mhm.
But mental health is really just our mental, emotional, and physical well-being, right? And so
Yeah.
everyone goes through stress and trauma, but when you have an intense amount of stress and trauma,
Mhm.
sometimes it's useful to have someone help you talk through that. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
just for the people that don't know, so after the car accident, tell me, what was your recovery process? So we had a conversation and you said, no, I'm not crazy. I really don't want to go that route. And I said, well, Mom, maybe it's something you could think about. I didn't want to push you at that time.
Mhm.
But I was determined to try and get you to stay open to the idea. So what happened in the meantime, right after that? What was your life like right after the accident?
Oh, it was awful. Having my car totaled, uh, my whole body. I went into what they call chronic trauma. I had a lot of trauma done to my body, my rib cage, my chest, uh, almost everything, my shoulder. I really went through a difficult time. So we went through, Jamila and I both went through 6 months of physical therapy. And doing therapy, my left shoulder kept hurting. And I couldn't understand why that was happening. They sent me for an MRI, found out that I had 3 tears around the rotator cuff that needed surgery. So I ended up getting surgery in August of last year. And that also changed my life. That's where the real severe chronic pain came in. When that happened, my whole nervous system was just shot. And I remember talking to you about, about the pain, and you had given me things to rub, my shoulder and things like that. But it was just dealing with that pain. And you said, Mom, I think you need to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Crying all the time, very depressed, couldn't sleep, wasn't eating right. And so finally, my family doctor said I needed to see a psychologist.
Okay, so can we just pause there, because this is just a real conversation. This is just a real conversation between you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I said you should see a psychologist, you might want to talk to somebody, you was like, I ain't crazy. Oh no. Mm-mm. And then when I mentioned it 2-3 more times, you're like, no, I really don't. I mean, I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. I feel horrible all the time. I'm in chronic pain, but I don't know why you think I should see a psychologist. But when your doctor, mind you, I'm a doctor, but when the other doctor said, oh, well, you need to see a psychologist, you were like, okay.
Excuse me, I should have listened. I should have listened to my number one.
I'm sorry, I just needed a therapy. I just needed to right quick. I mean, maybe I need to go see a therapist now to talk about that. But I'm just saying, someone could have listened to me, and I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mama. I'm sorry.
Well, I needed that whipping because I should have listened to my daughter. She was telling us for months.
For months and months, I was just very gently, it's not about, anxiety and depression and chronic stress. It's just, just to have someone outside of your experience listen to, what you're going through, and to be able to speak, to someone who knows how to hear and maybe knows how to unpack other traumas that you had been through. That's why, I know when you're trying, for those who may be listening to this conversation, when you're trying to get your family members to seek counseling, you really have to take it slow. You have to go with their, how they feel, and, what they're doing, and, what they're comfortable with. That's why I didn't push you. And I just kept hoping that in some way, shape, or form, something would happen that would trigger you. And so let's go back to the story. So your doctor, your medical doctor, said to you that you should see a psychologist, and then what happened?
Yeah, and I went online and I found a very good psychologist.
How did you find that? Because I wrote an article, and I'll put that link in with this Zoom call, called How to Choose a Mental Health Therapist. And just, you and I had a conversation about, try not to move your phone too much, Mom, because I can see it shaking the screen. Try to hold your phone still. Thank you. Okay. So it's just real conversation, y'all, just real conversation. So what made this person a good fit for you? How did you know that she was like, you and I had a conversation that we were going to look for a solutions-based cognitive behavioral therapist. But besides that, what was it about this person that made you feel like it was a good fit?
I went online, I read the reviews, I did my research. It was about 3 or 4 people, and I kept coming back to her. And she's only 10 minutes from where I live.
Wow.
So I just felt that was a good fit. And I prayed about it. I said, Lord, I need help. My daughter was right all along. And I wish I had gone when you first told me over a year ago, because these last 3 months, I'm feeling like my old self again, but I still have a ways to go. Still have a ways So,
Yeah.
but I told her,
Let
and the
me just
funny thing,
ask you really quick before you get into that. I just wanted to say this because this is an issue that comes up with Black folks as well. Is your psychologist a Black person?
no, she's between Spanish and Arab.
And Arabic. Okay. All right.
Or
So
yeah,
she's not Black, but
no,
even though, because a lot of times we think it has to be a Black person, I think what it has to be is a good fit. It needs to be a
it was
good
a good fit.
and someone
Yes.
who has an understanding of culture, which is really, really important. And so she can
Mhm.
relate to you. So tell me what it was like, when you first went, because I remember you said that you were 10 minutes late to the first appointment and 10 minutes
Yeah.
early to the second appointment, right? So walk us through what that first experience was like when you went to see the therapist for the first time. Were you
Oh,
nervous?
I was like a little baby. I was still fighting and kicking all the way. I said, "Oh gosh, yep, I was late," and she was sitting there patiently waiting for me. I said, "Oh gosh." The time I walked in, and we, she greeted me, and she took me back to my childhood. The tears. She opened up. It was just opening up a can of worms in my life, things that I hadn't dealt with. And all of that was related to what's happening to me now, or what happened to me. But she took me way back to when I was 6 years old. And I could read, I from that time on, every session, I have not gone
Mike,
yet.
try to hold the phone still. I feel like I hear something in the background there. I'm sorry. Okay,
Okay.
you were saying?
I have not gone to a session without crying.
Wow.
I mean, every session. And it's mainly just me talking and opening up about everything from, my grandparents raising me, from not having a father around, from everything through my marriages, relationships, children. I mean, she took me back to everything. And it's helped me so much. She's helped me deal with the chronic pain that I'm going through. I thought, they had me on all kinds of medication and everything, but like you said, it wasn't the medication. It was me opening up to a third person. And when you do that, I'm telling you, it's life changing. I mean, I can talk about things now. I can do things. I feel I'm more functionable. I feel free. Before I was walking around with this mask on. Oh, everything is fine. I'm happy. Even to you, there were times, but I couldn't fool you.
Oh no.
I could not fool my daughter.
No.
She knows me like a book. And there were times she'll call, "How you doing, Mom?" I'm fine. I was hurting so bad. And there were times I would be talking to you or talking to anybody and the tears are coming because my arm, the pain that was going through my body, I just cannot tell you the pain I've experienced through, this last year. But talking to Ava is my psychologist, and she's wonderful. She calls me, and she said if I, need to talk, it didn't matter what time of night it is. She's there for me, and they're there for you. And it's nothing to be afraid of. I said, all this time I was afraid, thinking, or thinking what people would think. You can't think what people would think about you. You gotta love yourself where you are. And if you need help, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to cry for that help. And that's what I did. And if I didn't, only God knows where I would be now. And I thank God for you, Phil, for being so patient with Mama, because I know, we can be little pains in the butts at times. But I
Oh
think,
no, not you all.
little smart Alec. Anyway, I love you,
I
but
love you too, Mama.
I do. Like I told you, I'm just beginning to feel like I'm walking into my power. Because
Woo!
a lot of those blinders have fallen off me. Um, I don't care anymore what people say or think. I gotta love me where I'm at and take care of me first. Taking care of everybody. Done this for this one and that one. But for me, I was walking around with that little happy-go-lucky mask on all the time. And I was hurting and crying and screaming out for help, and nobody knew.
Right.
Me too.
I
But
knew, I knew, but I didn't want to push you, you know. And it's interesting what you said. So you went to see a psychologist, and they went back and talked about all the stuff that you had stuffed, that you hadn't dealt with. And this is something that I have a conversation a lot with a lot of adults, and they say, "Oh my goodness, I do not want to open up that Pandora's box of my past, because if that opens up, I'm going to turn into a crazy person. I don't know what's going to come out. It's just going to be all crazy." Is that what happened to you when she went back into your
no,
past?
no, it freed me. Let me tell you, it freed me. I felt like I was in some type of a box, and I've been all these years trying to get out, and I didn't know how. And I ran here and ran there and went to this person, that person, and now I feel free, Phil. You know, the first time in a long time I can honestly say I feel free. I feel like I'm walking in my power. I can say what I want to say. I don't care what people say anymore. I don't care if they call me crazy, whatever, because I know what I am, and I'm not a crazy woman. I'm a woman that have a lot of faith and believe in myself and know who I am, and I know God have given me this wisdom and this knowledge to even doing what I'm doing right now. This is something that I really don't like to do, even though people think I talk a lot, but I really don't like to talk about, you know, things that I've gone through. But opening up my past, things that I thought I have dealt with, you know, but you don't. You know, a lot of people have never dealt with that past. And you have to, sometimes you have to go back in order to get yourself free, in order
Mm,
to have it.
mm.
And now I feel that I can conquer anything. I can go anywhere. This COVID-19, people are running here and running there, but I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because I feel free. I feel free. And I'm just so grateful every day of my life to wake up and take those deep breaths. You always said, take a deep breath. I take those deep breaths and I do my exercise the best way I can. One thing I shared with my psychologist, you know, and you and the kids know, I'm not able to lift my arm all the way up. I'm halfway there. But I will get there. I will get there in time. I had severe nerve damage done. So when I go there and when she asks me how high can I lift my arm and it goes up a little bit more, a little bit more, I can't tell you how that makes me feel, you know? I feel so good because I know one day I'm going to be able to lift it all the way up.
That's right. You will.
Yeah.
You
So
will.
going, you know, I just want the viewers or anyone that's listening to my little story here. Don't be afraid if you have fears of talking to. If you feel you can't talk to your family or your doctors or seek the help. Get the help because I'm so grateful that I did, and I'm still seeking the help. I'm
Yeah.
still seeking help.
Yeah. You're only a couple months in, right? How long have you been seeing your 3 months?
I've been seeing her for 3 months, and I'm coping with the pain a lot better. It's not as chronic.
Mhm.
Before it was so bad. I was still walking around with the sling on and everything, and I have no sling on now.
Mhm.
I'm doing things very normal. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning.
You're
You know,
going
I'm
for walks. You're able to go for a walk now, and you're able to do a little bit of light exercise. So, I had cut you off earlier. I apologize because I wanted to come back to it here. But tell me specifically what you were, I don't know, you might need to hold the phone up. I'm still hearing some static in the background there. Yeah, that's good. So
Mhm.
tell everyone what you were diagnosed with then once you began to see, a psychologist. What were all the different issues that she found?
Post-menopause, stress, anxiety, depression, chronic, extreme chronic pain. All of this was going on in my body, in my mind. It was consuming me. If I hadn't gotten the help when I did, I probably wouldn't be here, Phil, because the accident alone, uh, my car was totaled. I mean, I had to be pulled out of the car, and just the things that happened to my body,
Yes.
my whole body just went through all that trauma. My chest, I thought I was having a heart attack. My rib cage was bruised. I thought every rib had broken. My chest, my leg, my shoulder. Jamila and I both couldn't move our neck. I could not move my neck like this. I
Hmm.
could only move my whole body around like that.
And
I,
with all of that, you still thought you didn't need to see a psychologist,
yeah,
right? You were like, you just like a lot of Black women holding it down. Oh, I'm good. I got it. I
yeah,
can
that's
do this, right? And I'm going to hold on to this pain. And I'm just, I can take care of myself. And that's the message I want to get out to everyone, right?
yeah,
When you go through something traumatic like that, if your arm gets severely injured, you're going to put some salve on that arm, right? If you
hmm
break a leg, you're going to take time, put the leg in a cast, all of that. One of my good friends used to say all the time, and she's a cognitive behavioral therapist. She would say a car has hundreds of parts, so maybe over 300 parts, and even if you did everything right,
hmm
at some point the car is going to break down, right?
yeah,
At some point you got to get gas, got to get oil change, and something in the car is going to have to be replaced, right? When you think
mhm,
about the fact that we have 60,000 thoughts every day, we have 60,000 thoughts, and most of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before, and 80% of those thoughts are negative, right? That's for
mhm,
a normal, regular, average, everyday person that's just walking down the street. Now you
yeah,
take that and you add a car accident, trauma, chronic pain, put all that on top of already negative regurgitation of thoughts. What do you
yeah,
think that does to the mind? And would it not make
yeah,
sense to talk to a professional who could
yeah,
help you unpack? It's not
mhm,
about being crazy. It's
mm-mm,
about taking out the mental trash and being aware of what's yours and what's
yes,
not. And that's
yes,
that's what's so powerful about your story, Mom. So
hmm
I don't know,
hmm
is there any, I wanted to keep this call pretty short, so is there anything
yeah.
else that you would want to share with people who are thinking, I don't know, maybe I do need to talk to someone? Or what would you say to folks that are considering it, or that may be afraid to embark upon this journey?
Yeah. I would say if you're considering it, do it. Find a good psychologist. They can help you, but you have to find, like Phil said, you have to find the right one. I was just very, very fortunate that God led me to this lady, and she has helped me so much. She's even helped me deal with legal problems that, I'm having with my attorney, and trying to get out settlement and things like that. I mean, she's just touched base on everything. I mean,
Everything.
she took me way, way back from when, my grandparents raised me, and I've been dealing with a lot of grief, a lot of grief. Um, I thought I had that under control, but obviously I didn't have that under control either. There were times I was seeing my mother, I was seeing my father, I was seeing all the ones that I love. Um, they were coming to me. I mean, I was in a bad way. I was in a bad way, but people looking at me that would never, never know that I was going through that type of mental strain, but I
Right.
was. So if you're having any type of thoughts about seeing someone, please do so. Doesn't mean that you're crazy. And sometimes we just can't handle things on our own. We can only do but so much.
Right.
It's like I raised my girls, I could only do but so much with them.
Right.
We're not made of steel.
Right.
If it's help out there, don't be afraid. Just go for it. If you don't like that person, go to somebody
Find
else.
somebody else.
But
That, yes.
talk to someone. You need to
Yes.
talk to someone.
Yes.
Because even though my daughter is knowledgeable as she is, and I've been around, some really, really great people and things, I still needed that third person to talk to, someone that
Yes.
didn't know me from Adam.
Right. Right.
And I feel said, I mean, if I had listened to this child a year ago, oh my goodness, I don't know where I would be today. Maybe I'd be out there on the stage with her talking and
Hey,
hosting and everything else, and I still may be
Mama,
doing that.
you welcome on the stage with me anytime.
Yeah,
Anytime. Your life is just beginning as far as I'm concerned.
yeah,
So I just wanted to, as we wrap up this conversation, and say,
yeah.
it may not be a psychologist. It may be a marriage and family therapist,
Right.
or a licensed
Counselor.
clinical social worker. Like, there's a lot of different types of people that you could see
Yeah.
to help you on your journey to radiant health. And so in the link with this video, I will put the article that I wrote on how to choose a therapist, and also how to create a mental health self-care toolkit, so that you'll
Mhm.
have some tools to help you on your journey. Mom, I am so grateful to you for being willing to share your personal story. I know it's not always easy to talk about personal things, and just to see where you've come in just 3 months of seeing a therapist it's absolutely profound. I can personally attest to your mental and emotional state of being before you saw a therapist,
Yeah.
and now after having seen a therapist. And you're just beginning, you're just in the process. So imagine how deeply you'll be able to step into your power, a few
Mhm.
months down the road. So I'm just excited. How long do you think you're going to see this therapist?
Oh, probably a couple more months. Probably a couple more months. She was concerned about, with the COVID-19 going on, how I was doing, and she feels I'm coping very well with, sometimes, and it takes, sometimes in a bad situation like this is when the best of you come out. I don't know. It seems strange, but it seems like the best of me is coming out, because I don't have to put that mask on anymore. I don't have to lie to people and say I'm feeling good when I'm not feeling good. If I'm feeling bad, I'm just gonna say, no, I'm not feeling good today. I'm not gonna say, oh, I feel wonderful, I feel fine. That was me. Happy go lucky, like the energized bunny mommy, running here, running there. No, I'm taking life one day at a time. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for my children. So grateful to you, Phil, to be so patient with me. Because I tell you, I haven't been the most patient mama now. But I must have
Oh,
done something right. Excuse me, I must have done something right, because look at Dr. Phil. She's
you
doing
are an
doing
amazing
great
mom.
things.
You are an amazing
Thank
mom.
you.
I have no complaints at all whatsoever. I love you very
I
much,
love you
Mom.
too.
Nobody on this planet is perfect. We are all doing the best we can with
Yeah.
what we have. So I love you. I honor you. I'm
Thank you.
grateful for your presence and for the gifts that you're sharing. Who knows who's going to hear this video, and you may be saving lives. So thank you
Mm,
so much for being
thank
willing to
you.
share. And for
Yeah.
those of you who are listening, again, I will place some resources as well. And, we'll continue the conversation. Maybe I'll check in with
Mhm.
you down the line to see how things are going.
Okay.
But thank
Okay.
you so much. Be
You're
well,
welcome,
be
baby
one,
doll.
be radiant, and take care,
Yes.
Mom.
You take care. Love you.
Love you
Bye.
too.